Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got the Turbo Razor back in here, and check out this important item that we're going to add. We're going to put a Trinity Stage 5 exhaust system on here, and you may not know about welding, or you might, but that is one beautiful TIG weld. Look at those things. Got a nice rainbow on them. And another thing about welding is, if I can get this thing flipped around with one hand, the inside of a pipe, when you do a weld, should look like it was welded from the inside, even though you did the weld on the outside. It's got the nice stack of dimes going across on the inside there also. So that's beautiful workmanship. So they do a pretty good job on that. Got a nice TIG weld on the back there also. And they say that you're supposed to loosely put this together, put it in the clamps, just kind of finger tight it. It does have spark arresters that come with it. So we'll get that rigged up. Comes with instructions. It's packed pretty nice. All the stuff on top, it had lots of that packing paper in between it and bubble wrap, and these were in plastic, then in bubble wrap, then in the packing paper, the cushion kind, not just the sheets of paper. And then in the bottom it had bubble wrap, and then these were wrapped in a couple of layers of bubble wrap. So pretty decent packing job. So we'll get ready to put that on here. We just remove the stock exhaust. It's 3-bolt pattern on here. Some of them are slip over, and then there's springs that hold it. This is a bolt. So the other thing we're going to do, move the camera over here for you, is if you've been watching my channel, you will have seen a video in the past where I put a Kemimoto license plate mount on here, and I talked about how it could be used for so many different things than just a license plate, because not everyone needs a license plate. But one of the items I talked about was, if you've got stickers you need to put somewhere and you don't want them on your window, like we don't want them on the window. We got General Dreams Outdoors on there. We don't need any other up there. Some people will put the stickers on the bumper. They'll stick them on plastic somewhere. They'll put them sideways on the roll bar. Right now, they're on this shield that's covering the stock muffler. Well, that has to go away to put in the Trinity exhaust. So we're going to go ahead and, of course, we have to get new stickers. We'll get new stickers, and they'll be mounted on here. So we'll put a plate on here, just like a motorcycle license plate, and we'll put both stickers on there. And then when this thing goes to Idaho, you can stick the Idaho license plate on there. But while it's in Oregon, it'll have these stickers on here. So that'll work out pretty good, be clean. Because when you got stickers in a place that looks like they belong, it's so much cleaner. You don't just want them any old spot. So we'll remove that stuff and get started. We'll pre-assemble some of that. I'll take you along the way and show you little things that I learned, and we'll show you the before and after. And well, here's the before. Ta-da! And then there's one other thing that I want to do. We're going to fix something on this today also. Not just upgrades, we're going to fix something. So for some reason the US machines don't come with a parking brake. This is a spring brake thing. I have one on my General, and that is what it's called. I'll put a link in the description. And it's 2 bolts. It bolts right up under the dash. I'll show you how it works. And when you lock it, you put your foot brake down, and then with your other foot you can push that over, and then you let off your foot brake and it holds it. And you can put a padlock through that hole, and then people can't steal your machine. Of course they could take those 2 bolts out, but most of the time when someone's going to steal something, it's just opportunity. They're not going to do a bunch of wrenching to do it, because all your tires will be locked. The other thing I like is when I'm trailering it, I like loading something and then I lock the brake so this thing isn't going to move at all, and then you tie it down and go. Because I did have before I was using wheel bonnets, I had the thing I had the thing tied down, and one of the straps came loose, and my wife didn't realize it, but it was back there and it was rocking back and forth. So that just puts a lot of wear on your transmission, just sitting there rocking back and forth. The machine wasn't going to fall off. The other 3 straps were on there, but it wasn't tight like it should have been. If I had this on there at that time, it would have saved some wear on my transmission. So we're putting one on the Turbo RZR. And what else? Well, we're doing an exhaust system. We don't have the brake light fixed. We don't have the bumper straightened. We don't have the front A-arm that is kinked from the rollover fixed. But we're taking care of the important stuff. It needs to sound cool and have more power. So we'll get going on that, and we'll take you along the way. Here we go. Okay, we're going to try one more thing because I'm curious. I downloaded a decibel app, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this, I'm going to set it on that tire over there where the exhaust comes out. So I'll set this right here, and then I'll try to put the camera on it so you can see the ratings. I'm going to test it with the stock exhaust, and I'm going to test it afterwards when we have the Trinity on there, because I'm really curious. And I don't know where they tested that. Like if you go to the dunes, there's decibel ratings for the dunes. I don't know if they tested it at the muffler, if they tested it 5 feet away. I haven't looked that up. But we're going to see what it's like right there on the tire. Okay, it wasn't working real good on the tire, so I got it sitting on a chair next to the tire. Let's see what it does. It'll probably help if I push the record button. Okay. So, this machine doesn't have a tack in it, so I don't know what RPMs are at. So I'll just try to do similar things. But you see, it's got an average of 103.8, and it maxed at 112.7. And got no idea how accurate this app is, but it's some kind of baseline. Some kind of baseline, and it'll give me an idea of what the difference is between the stock one and the Trinity. Okay, so something that you want to always do when you are using either stainless bolts or you're screwing into aluminum is you want to have this is ARPs, but you want to have anti-seize, because aluminum will gall real easy and stainless will gall real easy. So I'll show you what I got here. I got this thing stuck together, and it's just loosely in there, so I can still adjust it back and forth. In theory, it'll be that spread right there. And then I've got these stuck on there. Something I learned already is the instructions tell you to put these at the top there and the top there. But my mounts for the other end of the spring are on the inboard sides, so it'd be there and there. So those are lined up with it. So look at yours just in case they've put those in a different spot. I'm sure the instructions are for multiple vehicles, not just one. Or might have been a production change. It's hard to say. Anyway, not that big a deal. I mean, if it was up there, you'd just take it out and you'd move it and put it down there. So I've got all of these loosened up. So lucky that the exhaust came loose. Sprayed a little PB blaster on there. Got those loose. Got everything else loose. So I'm going to go ahead and take this stuff apart and see what it's like taking the springs off to get that muffler out of there. So here we go. What I found is people are removing that, and it kind of looks like you would need to, because it's got that bar that goes across and it's got spacers, so it's supposed to be the muffler bracket and then the spacer and then the plate that says Trinity on it, and then it goes through the hole. So the only other thing you could possibly do is you put the spacer behind this and then put the plate, but the plate is going to hit these pieces here on the heat shield. So I don't think there's really any option. I think I need to remove it. So hopefully the outside of those stays nice and cool. If they do, then it's not really needed. If they get hot, then you know, we can always pop the muffler off and put the heat shield back in there and just trim those pieces out of it, you know, modify the heat shield a little bit if we have to. But we'll pull it off for now and see what happens. I will take these off of here and watch the nut bounce way over there, so that's awesome. Set these somewhere easy that I can get a hold of it once I get it in there. I'll set them on the hitch, I guess. Take that off of each one, and I still need to put never seize on these. So I wish they had instructions, you know, like in the old days you used to get a piece of paper and it told you how it all goes together. Now you have to look it up, Or you gotta find YouTube videos of someone else who's done it, which is part of what made me start my channel. I was looking for stuff and you couldn't find the information. And it's like, there's no way I'm the only person having this issue. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and start my own channel so that I can help other people that are having the same problem I am. So I just realized that it's probably going to be really fun. It is. Let me turn this so you can see. So I got this little hole here that I need to get this bracket in, but the bumper won't let me put it in this way. Ooh, nope, it doesn't fit in this way because then it would fall out. Let's see, maybe I can get it in like this. Ooh, there we go. All right, cool. It was starting to look like I was going to have to take the bumper brackets off. Do not want to do that. So I better put the other plate on the other side also before I get this up there in the way. So put this over here, see if you can see that. So I'm trying to put this in here. I think you can see it. I'd lay it at an angle. I thought that's what I did. Maybe I went this way. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, so I got those in there. So then the next fun will be taking this assembly and holding it up there with the right spread. It seems like this would be easier to do without the muffler on here. You know, I'm looking at this. Let me move the camera a little bit. Why are we doing this with this whole muffler assembly on here? So you got all this weight to hold up, which they're pretty light. Oh, that's a good question. Weight of that. Weight of that. Yeah. It's a little bit lighter than the stock exhaust. But it'd sure be a lot easier, at least to get it started, if I was only using these back pieces. Get those hanging there, then put the bracket on and kind of center the muffler up. You know, I think I'm going to do that, because otherwise I'm trying to hold three things and it's going to be a position that bothers my shoulder, I'm sure, on one of them. So yeah, I'm going to take this over there. I'm going to take the muffler off and I'm going to use just the brackets and get those hanging. Okay, so I got that off. And I'm sure I'll learn the reason to do it the other way, but it is much lighter now. And the comment about my shoulder, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but I got a little, pulled something in my shoulder, so certain positions irritate it. So I try to avoid those positions and definitely don't lift any weight in those positions. So yeah, this is not easy to get in there with this bumper bar in the way. It's not easy at all. How do I get my... Oh, there's a hole in the back. Can I get it through the hole in the back? I got the plate on. Now I'm trying to get the flat washer. Alright, got the flat washer. Now let's see if I can get the lock washer. I actually hate lock washers. I'm not using it. It's got a nylock. What do you need a lock washer and a nylock for? So yeah, through the hole in the back I'm able to get it, but boy, it's not real easy. Now I got the nut is on there crooked. You gotta get the nut on there straight. So you can start spinning it, get that thing started. Just need a couple threads. Ooh, I think I got it. Put my finger in here to hold it now, maybe. Yep. Now that would have been a bear doing that with the muffler also. So far, I think this is the better choice. At least it's the better choice if you have a bumper on. The other way might be better if you don't have a bumper. I'll get you over here and maybe you can see a little more of what's going on. So right up in here. So I got to raise this up here. Let's see here. So you got the bracket, then I need the spacer. And I dropped the washer again, so I need the spacer. Then you pull this bracket up. So this bracket's built aluminum, this is aluminum. These are extremely light. So that is very nice. So then I'll have to guide it up here. Push it through this hole to kind of, I have some side-to-side play because that's what that square plate's doing, is it's compensating for this big hole. You get it all together and then you can slide it back and forth until everything's lined up right. Then reach back here. You know, the other option, like I mentioned earlier, is I could take this bracket off and then put the bracket that's on the frame, take that off, get this mounted, and then put it back on. That'd be another way to not have to mess with the bumper. Okay, I got it started. So now you can see clearly when this thing gets mounted. I think you can see clearly. Everything is hanging off of that one bolt. It's interesting that there's nothing down here, because the exhaust pipe has an expansion piece on it. So it's not going to help hold that up. That's interesting. They got lots of these out there, so it obviously works good. Just find it interesting. Okay, now we'll grab the muffler and see if we can get it in the hole there. I'll go there. Get this one over here. There, kind of like that. Then take one of these brackets, put them up here and see if I can get all the bolts started. Lost the top one already. Got my little socket here to give me a little more to hold on to. There we go. Okay, so it can't fall out of there. And bring this one over here. Line it up. Get it started. There goes that bolt. Well, it's consistent. Top bolt fell out of both of them. So, in case I forget to say it later, one of the things that you gotta do before you fire this up is wipe everything down. on the stainless pipes, especially the oil from your hands when they get hot, it'll wind up leaving fingerprints. So you want to wipe it all down so you don't wind up with ugly fingerprints in your pretty stainless. Now, when you have the never seize on that I said you need to always make sure you use, it gets all over your hands, makes a mess. So, everything you touch will wind up getting never seize on it. You don't want to get dirt in those, because then it's even worse than if you didn't have never seize. So you got to keep them clean. I've seen people put never seize on and then just toss them on the ground like it's a regular bolt, and then they get dirt all in it. You got to put it together, and you're screwing dirt in your threads. So that is not a good thing. So now I have to find the other bolt and possibly clean it. So I'll go ahead and get those all kind of snugged, mocked up, and I'll bring you back. We'll put the header pipe on. Okay, so everything is just snugged right now still. That's just slid on there part way. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and start the nuts on there just so it doesn't fall off for any reason. And makes the rest of the exhaust system look pretty bad. I imagine he'll get a header pipe before too long. So now you got these springs you got to put on here. It doesn't seem to have a whole lot of pressure. That'll make it easier. Okay, that goes there. Maybe I got them in all the way already. So the book shows that there's long springs and short springs. So I guess on some models there's springs that are in here. Of course, on this one there is not. Got a nice bolted connection. Alright. Yeah, that one's actually loose. That's interesting. Huh. Wonder why that would be. How's that gonna work? Those are both the same length, aren't they? Okay, now I gotta pull it off, see if they're different lengths. I don't think so. Nope, they're both the same. I mean, I don't know if you can see it in the camera. That doesn't have any tension on it at all. And yeah, maybe it'll change when everything gets tightened up. Maybe when these tighten up, it'll change a little. I don't know. Okay, so now you're going to want everything nice and straight. That can pull up there. Did that tighten it? No. I don't know how anything would tighten that. That's very interesting. Okay. Get that up here. Find the spot we like. And then we'll tighten that up. So right now, it's not centered. So I don't have the same distance here and here. So let's see if there's any way to move that over. Let's see, maybe loosen these just a hair more. Is this the one? That's not the right one. Okay, so I'll try to loosen those a little, see if I can get them centered up so that this has got the same reveal each way, which is going to push this pipe out. So I don't know if that matters. Well, that kind of looks like it could benefit from it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna push those out and see what I can get, and then I'll bring it back, see what I come up with. Okay, so I got the header pipe on. This is still loose. I might try loosening that. Maybe roll it down here. Maybe it'll put some more pressure on it. There's not enough room to turn it around. It'll hit the pipe or the muffler, but maybe I can rotate it down and get some more distance. We'll have to call them about that. I suppose this could be bent up too, but I don't really want to do any of that unless we absolutely have to. So we will look into that. But the spark arrestor goes in this end over here. If I can get you over here. Woo, make you dizzy. The spark arrestor goes in here. So what we have to do, move you over so you can see, we have to unbolt these, and then you spin that plate out of the way. You put the spark arrestor in there, and then you bolt that back up. And you can also point these down, is my understanding. I don't want them to go down, but I want to roll them a little bit. So, because right now it looks like water could go in there. I'd rather them be tilted down a little bit, so when you're washing it or it rains or whatever, at least the water's naturally trying to run out of the end of it. So we have to wipe everything down now real good before I start anything. And they say it's not a bad idea to start the machine up in case it blows any of the packing out, then it doesn't plug the spark arrestor screen, which is all it is a screen. But that makes you legal for in the woods. It's U.S. Forestry approved. It even says right on it. So we definitely want to put those in, because he does use this in the woods. So I'll wipe everything down, and then we'll fire it up and see what happens. Okay, so I got it all wiped down with some rubbing alcohol. I went over it all, and I believe I read that these are Cerakoted, which Cerakote is what they put on guns, and the mechanism inside, it's so thin that it doesn't mess up the mechanism in the gun. Still works, you know, where powder coating would build it up and then the gun wouldn't work anymore. So that's interesting if that's what that is. It's probably a thicker coating of it, but we'll go ahead and fire it up, see what it sounds like. that sounds pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see what it sounds like next to the other one. Got a little smoke coming out of it. So I don't want to get it too hot. That should have blown anything out of the packing if that's an issue. So yeah, it's all still cool. So I can remove that and put the spark arrestor in it still. So I'll go ahead and do that. Go find the right wrench. Unscrew those, put the spark arrestor in there. Okay, so you see I've already turned this one down. I'm just turning them down slightly so if water goes in there it'll run back out. Because this here is flat. So water could go right in there and into that packing. So when the packing gets bad, you're supposed to check this every 30 or 40 hours. I think it's 30. And then you can unscrew these and slide that out to redo your packing. But here's the spark arrestor. It's got these little ears that stick out on it. It's got little recesses in it there. Oh, that's something I didn't notice on this other one. There's a shallow recess and a deep recess. That's interesting. Well, hopefully I put it in the right one. What difference does it make? Let's see. I put it in the deep one, or I put it in the shallow one. Well, it doesn't seem a whole lot different, but I'm going with the shallow one. So it's just got this nice billet end cap and then this stainless tip on it, and you screw that under those holes, turn it where you want it, and clamp it down. Pretty simple. And it's a little bit harder when you lose your Allen wrench. That's neat. I wonder where I put that. Right here on the tire. Got it. Okay, so you probably can't see anything but my hand at the moment. Anyway, you just get those started. Once you get a couple of those in there, that this starts to cinch up pretty quick. Just make sure that your spark arrestor doesn't fall out of its spot. Turn those however you want them, point it back, down, forward if you're goofy. And we'll put that on there, and then I'll go over there and play with that spring and see if there's anything I can do to make that tighter. And then we'll fire it up, see what it sounds like. Okay, well, we've got those turned down. Seems pretty solid, even though it just hangs on 2 points at the top. That's amazing. Awesome looking setup. And it'd be cool to have that head pipe on there too to get a little bit more power, but you'd have that stainless going all the way up. The downside is all that pretty stainless. These will probably stay looking good, but these ones here, once you go through mud and everything when it's hot, then they'll get burned on there a little bit, kind of like this is back here. So it won't look as shiny once you go through the mud. But buy the thing to use it, or you buying it to look good in a car show. So a little bit of both. Anyway, we'll go ahead and fire that up, see what it sounds like, and then we'll set up the meter. Okay, let's start this, see what it says. swear it said 112 on the last one. No way, this is quieter. Well, it could be a difference of an old muffler and a new muffler with fresh packing. Wow. I'll rev that up one more time, see if it changes. What did we get? 111.2. Isn't that interesting? So I could have swore that it was higher than that last time with the stock exhaust. I have to compare the videos and see. Okay, well, there is the Trinity Stage 5 muffler install. We did not do a tuner. Some things you read says you need to do a tuner. Some things say you don't need to do a tuner. I heard some stuff that it's not as critical with a turbo as it is with a naturally aspirated. Maybe because with the turbo there's such a wider range of air-fuel mixtures. I don't know. I know it does seem like when I rev this versus revving the General, that the General revs up quicker from idle up a little bit, where this one, it seems to rev up a little slower, but then once the turbo kicks in, of course, this flies by that. But it's interesting the way the power bands are a little different. Okay, well, I got one more thing I said I was going to do. I was going to fix on this machine. So I'll put this thing on and I'll show you how that works. You got to have your spring brake thingy. And then we'll have to get some new stickers and put them on here. But that's where they're going to be. So you're going to have two stickers there, nice and neat, centered on the machine. And a nice pretty exhaust down below with a big old bumper to protect them. So I'll move this thing back a little bit so I can get the door open and mount that spring brake thing in and show you how that works. Okay, let's see here. If I can get this down in here. That slides on there. And then that screws back on there. It's pretty tough. I don't know if everyone will be able to install this one. There we go, it's installed. So now you push that down and you spring that over. So let's see, push and spring. Okay, I can do it by hand. It takes quite a bit. Let's see if my feet can get in there and do it. Get this thing over there and move that out of the seat. Get in here, and so there's not as much room in here as the General because you got this tire well right here. I got room. I can get my foot right on the side of that. But oh yeah, there we go. So now the brakes are set, which just being parked where I was. I don't know if you heard that. That was pulling it out of park. Machine couldn't roll because the brakes are on, but pretty quick and simple upgrade that'll give you a lot more life out of your transmission. Got our spring brake thingy in there, which we just went over. So the spring brake thingy's in there. Now we got a parking brake. We got a pretty Trinity exhaust on the back, and really kind of opens it up, makes it look like there's a lot more room there, because that old cover seemed like it was right out here. At least it looked more congested. It makes the whole machine look lighter, looks a lot cooler from the rear end. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice looking. Nice header going around, pipe going there. And this is the expansion thing that I was talking about when I was putting that thing together. So we'll see how this lasts longevity wise, and if it winds up needing a tune. Like I say, we've seen, that probably made you dizzy. We'll see how this holds up longevity wise and see if it needs a tune. Like I say, I've read things both ways, and we'll just see what happens. We won't really know until we go on a couple of trips. Go ride up in the woods, go ride at the dunes. Right now, about all we can do is ride at the dunes, or I don't think you can even go over east anymore because there's fires starting over there every day. So this time of year, not much you can do except for go to the dunes. So we'll probably be a little while before we get to do a good test on it. Maybe at the UTV takeover. Not sure if this one's going or not. But anyway, we got that on there. There'll be a link in the description for a spring brake thingy and the Trinity Stage 5 exhaust, as well as the Kemimoto license plate, lighted license plate mount that's going to have the stickers on it, so that we have all of our legal stickers on this machine. All right, well, I hope this helped someone out there. I picked up on a couple of things along the way. Having the bumper on the back does make it a little more complicated, but we got her done. And if you got any questions, throw it in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.